Hey folks, welcome back to another Dice Tower preview. I'm Mark, and today we're taking a look at Giant City, which is brought to you by Jagarama. It's for 2 to 4 players, ages 8 and up, and games generally run about 10 to 20 minutes. After sleeping for several centuries, the giants Monta and Monty have awakened, and to their surprise, the beautiful valley they used to enjoy now looks over a big city, which has brought foul smells, pollution, and too much noise even for 2 angry giants. The first visit to the big city is going to be rough. Join me as we stomp and smash our way through Giant City. So your main goal here is to destroy city tiles. You need to gather 10 points in order to win, or eliminate another player and then calculate points. There are 2 types of tiles that you're going to be destroying. You have the player tiles that are color-coded to the player, and you have neutral tiles. The neutral tiles are going to be worth 1 point. Player tiles are worth 3. And if a player is ever eliminated by losing all 3 of their tiles, then you calculate score and end the game there. So you will always have 3 main player tiles with your color, but depending on player count will determine how many neutral tiles you'll receive. In a 4-player game like we're set up here, you'll get 5 neutral tiles. And then you got to make some choices because there are a couple phases in the game. The first one is just building out the city. Setting up the board is really part of the game. And then you have the destruction phase of the game. So you're going to be going in turn and placing your tiles face down. Now you have to remember, this game has a memory component. You never want to lose track of where you put your main player tiles, because you'll get negative points if you do. If you land on them and destroy one of your own tiles, it's not good. So don't do it. Remember where you put all your main tiles. So you're going to be building out the city in a configuration where you can always move orthogonal around the city and so forth. And that's really what you're doing in that first phase, is just building this city and trying to remember where you placed your tiles. And then you also are going to get 3 cards to start. We'll take a look at these cards in a minute, but they're going to aid you in many different ways, helping you move further, perhaps destroy multiple tiles. Also, they're going to affect the giant's mood. Over here, you'll see that you have the score wheel. You'll be moving around this, tracking your score, but in the middle is the mood. What mood the giants are in. Perhaps they're just in a mood to move, or they're in a mood to destroy, and those are really the main things. But depending on how enraged they are, you may be able to destroy multiple tiles. So again, it just depends on their mood, but other players can affect their mood as well. So once you've completed building your city around the main cave tile, then it's time for the city destruction phase. First thing that happens is that the 2 giants are going to be starting on the cave tile. And then the first thing you're going to be doing is moving the mood marker around the board 1 space. Then it's time to move one of the giants. You have to pick which one you want to move, and you can move it orthogonal, but you move it 2 spaces. And then you have a choice. If you have any cards in your hand that have the foot icon, you can play one of those. Then it's time to determine the mood of the giants. Now, there's 3 different moods. They can either be happy, angry, where they destroy a tile, or they can be enraged, where they destroy 2 tiles, the tile they're on and an adjacent tile. But you hope to manipulate the dial so you get the most points by having them be enraged, hopefully. Now, you're looking for cards as the active player. You look for cards in your hand that have the lightning symbol. And you'll follow the icons on those cards by either manipulating the mood or perhaps moving the giants in the city, but all kinds of different options here. You could potentially move it clockwise, counterclockwise, or multiple spaces either way. Also, you have the option, depending on the card, perhaps to move the mood to the opposite side of the dial. Again, lots of different ways to manipulate this. So you as the active player will play your card. However, your fellow players also get an option to play 1 card from their hand, further manipulating the giants or their mood. But you do get the last say. You still get to play 1 last card from your hand if you have the lightning bolt, and further manipulate their mood or move them to a new space. So if the giants are angry or enraged, then you'll destroy the city tile they're on and potentially the one adjacent to them by just simply flipping it over. If it's a neutral tile, you'll get 1 point. If it's a tile of one of your fellow players, you'll get 3 points. But if it's your tile, you get a negative point. So you need to be mindful of where you placed your player tiles. Then at the end of your turn, you have a couple options. You can explore. You can reveal a tile that's next to a giant, but you have to show everyone at the table and then place it face down. Now, also, you have cards in your hand that you've been playing. So you can draw back up to 3, or you can discard your old hand and get 3 new cards, but only the active player can do that. The rest of the players can only draw back up to 3. And that brings your turn to an end, basically, and then you start back at the top with the next player. Now, there's a few other icons and cards to be mindful of. There are cards and icons that allow you to manipulate the military by moving one of their tokens out into the city. Now, that will prevent the giants from moving to that spot, but if the giant is enraged, the military really can't make much of a difference. Now, there's also icons that force other players to discard cards from their hand, as well as an icon to let you look at 2 tiles out in the world. You'll still have to reveal them to everyone, but you do get a glimpse into what's out there. And finally, there is an icon that allows you to play a card at any time. So these cards are really how you put them together and how you use them to manipulate the giants and that mood board to get the maximum points. You really hope to get 10 points to win the game, but really whoever has the most points is going to win, and you hope to be the ultimate city smasher. Alright folks, just a reminder once again, this has been a Dice Tower paid preview, and everything you've seen here has been in prototype form, so keep a close eye on the campaign for any changes that still may occur. Now, with that said, this is definitely a family-friendly game, very light, just quick to play, and it does have some memory aspect to it as well, so if you like that in games, this might be right up your alley. But in general, just smashing tiles and playing those cards. There's a little bit of take that, but it's not really overpowering in this game. You know, if you remove someone from the game, then the game just ends and you calculate scores. So no one's sitting out for a long time. You can quickly set up and play again. So folks, ultimately though, if this looks like something of interest to you, I'm sure they'd appreciate your support. So I think that's it from me, and until next time, we'll see you at the table.